Everybody, welcome to Personal Mastery Training. I'm your host, Alvin Brown, former world-class athlete, now turned entrepreneur and consultant to world-class athletes and entrepreneurs. Like the name says, this podcast is all about gaining a sense of mastery over self. Because when we can tame and master the inner game, the inner critic, then there's no enemy that will exist outside of us and we become unstoppable, unbeatable. On this podcast, we have two formats. One is a masterclass where we invite guests who are or were in the arena of battle. They're falling 7 times. They decide to get up for 8 times because they know how it feels to have unfinished business. One thing we know is that success leaves clues. So we ask these people, these warriors, on their mastery journey to come and sit down and share with us their journey, because we know that success and their failures can give us clues to add to our journey. And we grow from their experiences. We stand on the shoulders of giants. And these people can be authors, athletes, or entrepreneurs. We take them all. The second format is a strategy session where I spark a thought that will help you to start or fuel your mastery journey. As my mentor, Dr. Tom Hill, said, one idea can change your life forever if you apply it. So I invite you to journal. I invite you to take it away and chop it up. All right, let's get into the show. Peace. This is a strategy episode. In this episode, we're going to talk about how challenges make you stronger. How you can lean into challenges and actually eat it for breakfast. Because this is a path to mastery. Every single one of us, last count, there's 8 billion of us on this planet. Not one of us are going to go through without some challenges. Not one of us. The other day I was doing the math about life, because I'm always talking about people just playing around with life as if it's something they get to skate through easy, or they think there's going to be another one coming after this. And it amazes me how we play with it. We poke the bear sometimes with our life. We take risks that we don't have to take. And because the problem is we get nudged off course and we get nudged into disease, and it doesn't happen overnight. So people poke the bear as if they're going to be the one that defies the odds. And so I did the math. How many people have been alive since they started recording? 108 billion people. And then I was thinking, life is 108 billion to the none. It hasn't lost yet. So none of us gets out of this one alive. So the thing is, how do we enjoy the time that we're on this planet? So how challenges make you stronger is this. You've always heard me repeat this. If you listen to this podcast now, it's 147 episodes. I'm always saying this quote. I don't want to get through life. I want to get from it. And I don't want to get through a challenge. I want to get from it. And I want to elaborate a little bit on this, because this is huge. Because a lot of us are going to go through something. We're going to go through a challenge. But life, I've often heard people even say, oh, getting old sucks. You don't want to get old. What's the other option? There's no other option, actually. So if I'm going to be here for the time that I'm on this planet, I want to get from life. Because imagine think about this concept, getting through it. Oh, I'm just getting through life. That's a long, long ass life that's filled with drudgery, and it's a drag getting through it. Think about your challenges. I'm not immune to getting those either. Filled with it every day. From business, personal, mental, you game it. I'm on that same journey you're on. But here's what I choose to do. I choose to get from every challenge. I choose to get from life. There's a lesson wrapped in every experience. And this is my passion, actually, for creating this podcast, for writing my book, is because I've sat for 30 years and listened to almost every kinds of problems out there that we struggle with on a daily basis. And one thing I found is I've not heard a new one yet. Thank goodness, because some of them I've heard is off the chain. But I haven't heard a new problem. It's all wrapped in the same kind of underlying issues. I haven't heard a new one. So we're all going through it. We're all going through problems. But here's what I do know from listening, from training, from studying. If I'm getting through it, I'm going to continue to repeat it because I'm not learning the lesson. And it's going to come again. You ever see those people with the same relationships, different name of the partner, but the same conditions? They're going through it again. Financially, how many of us have gone through the same financial struggle? If you look back when we were making 30,000 to when we were making 100,000, it's the same. We're still at the same point because what we did was we raised our expenses every time we got a raise. And then we said, the next time I got 10,000, another 10,000 raise, I'm going to be out of debt. But we're back in it again. You see, because you got through it, you didn't get from it. I remember running on the treadmill a few years ago after I made this ridiculous house deal. And I was thinking to myself, why did I do that again? I knew better. Why did I allow myself? Because at first I was blaming. Here's how I was getting through it. The challenge at the time, the house deal that went bad. I was blaming the real estate person. Oh, he should have. But guess who signed the document? I don't remember him putting a gun to my head. And I knew in my gut, in my mind, I was studying the market. It wasn't the right timing. But you see, for him, he needed to close the sale. So he went in on the house with no conditions on this house. Just blew right through all the red lights, just right through. Signed the deal. Next thing you know, we're in this house. And the house just went downhill from there. And it really took us to our knees because I was running the business at the same time. There's a lot of things going on at the time. And I could have blamed him because I later found out that's just his way of doing things. I could have blamed him. But I said, no, I signed it. I knew better. In the back of my mind, you shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be doing it. But I have all these other things going on in the front of my mind. Oh, you should. You got approval. Why don't you just do it? Everybody else wants it. Boom. I learned a lesson. Then I made another financial error. Again, my logical mind tells me something. My emotional mind takes over and hijacks me. I'm doing this thing. So I had to step back and reflect and think to myself, why do I keep doing this? What is the problem? And this is why in my book, I mentioned on the soul, money is related to soul. See, I didn't know that I didn't feel deserving of having money. It's only when I went in and started to think about, why do I keep doing this? Why do I get abundance, feel a little comfortable, and find a way to sabotage myself? See, that's when I realized that I have an issue with money. I have an issue with feeling deserving. I have an issue with feeling overabundance of money. So I find a unique way, and I can blame things. If I'm getting through it, I'm blaming everything else outside. But when I start to get from it, I start to look at myself. I take 100% responsibility. That's when getting from it teaches you a lesson. That's how you make challenges make you stronger. If you have a health condition going on, what can you get from that? Maybe I want to change the way I'm doing things, have more discipline. Discipline leads to freedom. It's in my other episode. If I'm going through relationship issues, what is it about that partner that I keep finding? Am I needing something? Something isn't being met. So I find these partners that I can blame them. That'll work for a little while. I can blame them, but I'll just repeat it again if I keep blaming them. But if I stop and think about it, Why am I keep getting that partner again? I've been at this for a while. 4 or 5 partners, they're the same way. They're turning out the same way. What's going on inside of me? And do some deep introspection, journal on it. And you start to realize that I'm choosing these people because that's who I'm comfortable with. That's who my ego, my standards. I need to raise my standards. But if I raise my standards, that means I have to raise my game. Because for me to feel deserving of that partner, I have to stop playing small. You see what I'm saying? So that's diving in. That's diving in and diving deep into how to get from a challenge. Or I can continue to blame the outside partners and they just keep coming until I learn from it. So take this in anywhere: finance, health, profession, the big categories, health. Take it from there and see where your biggest challenge is and see how you can get from it and finally break through. And it'll just end it. Because if you find anything that repeats, it's because you're going through it. So that, my friends, take that away, journal on that. Man, I would love it if you just grab yourself a journal that you just use for personal mastery. And I want you to dissect this topic. What's challenging me? And am I just getting through it? Is this why it's been hanging around so long? What if I get from it? Will it crack the code and change everything around? So that's it. If you know someone who repeatedly start talking to you about the same thing over and over again, and you're scratching your head going, why do they keep, it's the same story, different partner, different situation, different job, different financial issue, but it's the same outcome. Maybe they need to stop getting through it. Maybe they need to get from it. And this is something you can share. Let's build this community of people who believe to jump off that treadmill and start to really get from life and finally crack the code. Like, subscribe, share, and let's build this community. If I can help you out, holla at your boy. The number is in the connection is in the link tree in the bio and my website. We're here for you. All right. Until next time. You know why I do this? Because I want me to be relentless about our pursuit for personal mastery. All right. Until next time. Peace and love.